Danielle Busby undergoes serious surgery, OutDaughtered stars health battle and recovery update. Danielle Busby has always been known as the strong center of the Busby family, the steady presence holding everything together while raising 6 daughters under the constant spotlight of reality television. For years, viewers of OutDaughtered have watched her juggle motherhood, marriage, business, and filming schedules with what often appeared to be endless energy. But behind the smiles, the humor, and the carefully edited moments on screen, Danielle has been quietly facing a reality that many fans never fully understood until recently. Her journey towards serious surgery was not sudden, not dramatic in the way television often portrays health crises, but slow, exhausting, and deeply personal. Long before surgery became unavoidable, Danielle had been dealing with unexplained health issues that slowly began to affect every part of her life. At first, they were subtle enough to dismiss. Fatigue that lingered longer than it should have. Discomfort that didn't quite make sense. Days where her body simply didn't respond the way it used to. Like many mothers, especially those caring for young children, she pushed through it. She told herself it was stress, lack of sleep, or just the result of managing a household that never slows down. But as time passed, those symptoms became harder to ignore. The Busby household is anything but quiet. With 6 daughters, including quintuplets, life moves fast and loudly. Danielle has always been the organizer, the planner, the one making sure everything runs smoothly. Admitting that something was seriously wrong meant confronting the possibility that she might not be able to do it all anymore. For someone who takes pride in being dependable, that realization can be terrifying. Still, she continued to show up, both for her family and for the cameras, even as her health struggles quietly intensified. Viewers eventually began to notice changes. Danielle appeared more tired. Her patience, usually remarkable given her circumstances, seemed stretched thin at times. There were moments where she openly admitted she didn't feel like herself. These were not dramatic confessions, but honest ones, shared in the same straightforward way she approaches motherhood. She spoke about feeling worn down, about her body not cooperating, and about the frustration of not having clear answers despite numerous medical appointments. One of the hardest parts of Danielle's health journey was the uncertainty. Tests were done. Doctors were consulted. Possibilities were discussed. But clear solutions didn't come easily. For someone used to solving problems quickly, waiting for answers was emotionally draining. Each appointment brought hope, followed by more questions. Meanwhile, life didn't pause. Her daughters still needed her. Filming commitments continued. The pressure to maintain normalcy weighed heavily on her shoulders. Adam Busby, Danielle's husband, has often spoken about how difficult it was to watch her struggle. From his perspective, the woman who had always been the backbone of their family was now battling something invisible yet powerful. He could see the toll it was taking on her physically and emotionally. As a partner, he wanted to fix it, to make it go away, but health doesn't work that way. All he could do was support her, encourage her to listen to her body, and remind her that asking for help is not a sign of weakness. Eventually, the conversation shifted towards surgery. This was not an easy decision. Surgery represents a line many people hope they never have to cross. It carries fear, risk, and the acknowledgement that something serious is happening. For Danielle, agreeing to surgery meant accepting that her body needed intervention, that pushing through was no longer an option. It also meant confronting how this would affect her family, her responsibilities, and her sense of identity. Danielle approached the decision with the same thoughtfulness she brings to everything else. She asked questions. She weighed options. She considered recovery time, potential outcomes, and how it would impact her daughters emotionally. As a mother, her instinct was to protect them, to make sure they felt safe and reassured. At the same time, she knew that taking care of herself was not just important for her, but necessary for them as well. When the day of surgery arrived, it marked a turning point. This was not just a medical procedure, but a moment that symbolized everything Danielle had been carrying silently for so long. The anxiety leading up to it was real. Even for someone as strong as Danielle, the idea of being vulnerable, of placing her health in the hands of doctors, was overwhelming. Yet she faced it with quiet courage, leaning on her faith, her family, and the belief that this step was necessary for healing. Adam was by her side, offering reassurance in ways only a spouse can. Their relationship, often highlighted on OutDaughtered for its humor and teamwork, took on a deeper seriousness in this moment. Health challenges have a way of stripping life down to what truly matters. For the Busbys, it reinforced the importance of partnership, communication, and unconditional support. Danielle's daughters, though young, sensed that something significant was happening. Children are perceptive, even when adults try to shield them from worry. Danielle and Adam were careful in how they explained things, focusing on reassurance rather than fear. They emphasized that their mom was getting help and that everything was being done to make her feel better. It was a delicate balance, one that required honesty without overwhelming them. The surgery itself was serious, but Danielle's story is not defined by medical details. What matters most is what the surgery represented, a step toward reclaiming her health, her energy, and her quality of life. Recovery was not immediate. Healing takes time, patience, and self-compassion, things that don't always come easily to someone used to constant motion. Danielle had to learn how to slow down, to rest without guilt, and to trust others to step in where she usually would. This period of recovery revealed another side of Danielle, one that fans don't often see. Vulnerability is not something reality television always captures well, but in her case, it became part of her narrative. She spoke openly about the emotional challenges of recovery, about feeling frustrated with limitations, and about the mental toll of stepping back from her usual role. These admissions resonated deeply with viewers who have faced similar struggles. Adam took on more responsibilities at home, a shift that highlighted the adaptability of their partnership. While he has always been an involved father, this time required an even greater level of presence. It wasn't about stepping in temporarily, but about fully supporting Danielle's healing process. Their teamwork during this period sent a powerful message about marriage, shared responsibility, and the importance of prioritizing health. As weeks passed, progress came gradually. Small improvements became victories. More energy, less discomfort, moments where Danielle felt like herself again. These changes reinforced that the decision to undergo surgery, though difficult, was the right one. Still, recovery was not linear. There were good days and hard days, moments of optimism and moments of exhaustion. Danielle didn't shy away from acknowledging both. One of the most impactful aspects of Danielle's journey was her willingness to be honest with her audience. In a world where social media often presents polished versions of life, her transparency stood out. She didn't portray herself as a hero or a victim, but as a real person navigating a complex situation. This honesty helped break down unrealistic expectations about health, especially for mothers who feel pressure to constantly perform. Danielle's experience also sparked broader conversations about women's health. Many fans saw themselves in her story, recognizing the tendency to ignore symptoms, to prioritize everyone else's needs, and to delay seeking help. Her journey served as a reminder that listening to your body is not selfish and that taking action can prevent longer-term consequences. As she continued to heal, Danielle gradually resumed her responsibilities, but with a new perspective. The surgery and recovery forced her to reevaluate what truly matters. She began setting boundaries, allowing herself rest, and acknowledging that being present doesn't always mean doing everything. This shift was subtle but significant, reflecting personal growth shaped by experience. The Busby family dynamic evolved as well. The girls learned important lessons about empathy, patience, and the importance of health. Seeing their mother prioritize her well-being sent a message that will likely stay with them long into adulthood. It showed them that strength includes knowing when to seek help, and that caring for oneself is an essential part of caring for others. For fans of OutDaughtered, Danielle's surgery added depth to her role as the family's matriarch. She was no longer just the capable, always-on mom, but a woman navigating real challenges with grace and honesty. This added dimension made her story more relatable and meaningful, reminding viewers that reality television is rooted in real lives with real struggles. Over time, Danielle's health continued to improve. While no surgery is a magical solution, the positive changes were evident. She spoke about feeling hopeful, about regaining a sense of balance, and about being grateful for the support system around her. Gratitude became a recurring theme, gratitude for doctors, for family, and for the opportunity to heal. Adam often reflected on the experience as a turning point for their family. It reinforced the idea that life is unpredictable and that health should never be taken for granted. It also strengthened their bond, reminding them of the importance of facing challenges together rather than trying to shoulder everything alone. Danielle's journey did not end with surgery. Healing is ongoing, and maintaining health requires continued attention. But the surgery marked a clear before and after. Before, there was uncertainty, exhaustion, and pushing through pain. After, there was clarity, intention, and a renewed commitment to well-being. In sharing her story, Danielle did something powerful. She normalized the idea that even those who seem strong and capable can struggle. She showed that asking for help is an act of courage, not defeat. And she reminded countless viewers that taking care of oneself is not optional, especially for those who care for others. The matriarch of the Busby family remains strong, but her strength now includes vulnerability, boundaries, and self-awareness. Danielle's serious surgery was not just a medical event, but a life lesson, one that reshaped how she approaches motherhood, marriage, and herself. As OutDaughtered continues, fans will undoubtedly see a Danielle who carries this experience with her. Not defined by it, but shaped by it. Her journey stands as a testament to resilience, honesty, and the power of choosing health, even when it means slowing down. In the end, Danielle Busby's story is not about illness or surgery alone. It's about listening to your body, honoring your limits, and understanding that true strength lies in taking care of yourself so you can continue showing up for the people who matter most. The untold truth of OutDaughtered. When people hear the name OutDaughtered, most immediately think of smiling faces, matching outfits, and the non-stop chaos of raising 6 daughters under one roof. On the surface, the show looks like a wholesome, feel-good family series built around love, laughter, and everyday parenting struggles. But like many reality TV shows, what viewers see on screen is only part of the story. Behind the carefully edited episodes, cheerful music, and heartwarming moments lies a much more complex reality that many fans never fully consider. The untold truth of OutDaughtered is not about scandal or secrets hidden in the shadows, but about the emotional, physical, and personal costs of living life in front of cameras year after year. Adam and Danielle Busby never set out to become reality television stars. They were a young Texas couple simply trying to navigate marriage, work, and parenthood. When they welcomed their first daughter, Blake, life already felt busy. But everything changed when Danielle became pregnant again and learned she was carrying quintuplets. Overnight, their private family story became national news. The rarity of all-female quintuplets immediately caught attention, and TLC saw a story audiences would connect with emotionally. What started as a documentary-style look at an extraordinary situation slowly evolved into a long-running reality series that would shape the Busby family's lives in ways few could predict. One of the biggest misconceptions about OutDaughtered is that the cameras simply observe daily life without interference. In reality, filming schedules, production needs, and storytelling goals inevitably shape what viewers see. Scenes are filmed multiple times, conversations are guided, and moments are selected to fit a narrative arc. This doesn't mean the family is acting or pretending, but it does mean their real experiences are filtered through the lens of entertainment. Certain struggles are emphasized, others are softened, and many moments never make it to air at all. As the show grew in popularity, so did the pressure on Adam and Danielle. Raising 6 children is demanding enough without the added stress of being public figures. Every parenting decision, emotional reaction, or moment of frustration became subject to online scrutiny. Fans felt invested in the family, but that investment sometimes crossed into judgment. Viewers debated whether Danielle was too strict, whether Adam was pulling his weight, or whether the children were being disciplined correctly. What many failed to realize was that these judgments were based on minutes of edited footage, not the full reality of life inside the Busby home. Danielle Busby, in particular, carried a heavy emotional burden. On screen, she is often portrayed as the strong, organized matriarch who keeps everything running smoothly. Off-screen, she has been open about dealing with exhaustion, chronic pain, anxiety, and health issues that were not always fully explained during earlier seasons. There were moments when she appeared irritable or distant, and some viewers labeled her as controlling or cold. What wasn't always visible was the physical and emotional toll of caring for 6 children, managing a household, participating in filming, and trying to maintain her own sense of identity. Adam Busby's journey is another layer of the untold truth. Early seasons often showed him as the calm, supportive dad, balancing work and family life with humor. But as the years went on, Adam began to speak openly about his struggles with mental health, including depression. For a reality TV father, especially one portrayed as a dependable provider, admitting vulnerability was not easy. His honesty challenged stereotypes and sparked important conversations, but it also exposed him to criticism from viewers who didn't understand the complexity of mental health challenges. The children themselves are at the center of the show, and that reality raises questions many fans rarely ask. Growing up on television is vastly different from a normal childhood. While the Busby girls are clearly loved, supported, and protected by their parents, they also live with cameras present during formative years. Their milestones, tantrums, medical appointments, and emotional moments are documented for millions to see. Even though filming is limited and regulated, the long-term impact of early exposure to fame is still largely unknown. Hazel Busby's vision struggles offered viewers a glimpse into a more serious side of the family's reality. Her medical challenges were shared publicly, bringing awareness to childhood eye conditions and the emotional stress they cause families. While many appreciated the honesty, it also meant that Hazel's health became a topic of public discussion. For parents, balancing transparency with privacy is incredibly difficult, especially when your story is also your livelihood. Another untold aspect of OutDaughtered is how fame reshaped family relationships. Extended family members, like Danielle's mother, known to viewers as Mimi, became familiar faces on the show. Their involvement added warmth and humor, but it also meant their personal lives became intertwined with public narratives. When real-life problems surfaced, such as legal issues or personal struggles, they were no longer private matters. The line between family support and public exposure became increasingly blurred. Financially, many assume reality TV families are set for life. While OutDaughtered certainly improved the Busbys' financial stability, the income is not as simple as it appears. Reality TV contracts, taxes, business expenses, and the cost of raising 6 children quickly add up. Adam and Danielle expanded into businesses, social media partnerships, and entrepreneurial ventures not just for luxury but for long-term security beyond television. Fame can fade quickly, and responsible planning becomes essential. Social media brought another layer of complexity. Platforms like Instagram allowed the Busbys to connect directly with fans, share updates, and control parts of their narrative. But it also opened the door to relentless criticism. Parenting choices, appearance, work decisions, and even children's behavior became topics of public debate. The pressure to appear grateful, positive, and relatable at all times is emotionally draining, especially when real life is messy and unpredictable. One of the most misunderstood truths about OutDaughtered is the idea that the show represents a perfect family. In reality, the Busbys have consistently shown that their lives are far from perfect. They argue, they struggle, they get overwhelmed, and they make mistakes like any other family. The difference is that their mistakes are remembered, replayed, and discussed by strangers. The expectation to be role models can feel suffocating, even when intentions are good. As the seasons progressed, viewers began noticing subtle changes. Episodes focus more on emotional conversations, health concerns, and long-term planning rather than just daily chaos. This shift reflected the family's evolving reality. The girls were growing older, Danielle's health needed attention, and Adam's priorities were changing. Fame no longer felt new or exciting. It became something to manage carefully. There is also the untold truth of choice. Despite being part of a popular series, the Busbys have made conscious decisions to step back at times, limit filming, or address personal matters privately. These choices often confuse fans who feel entitled to updates. But at its core, OutDaughtered is about real people trying to protect their family while sharing part of their journey. Critics often argue that children should never be part of reality television. Supporters counter that the Busbys have provided opportunities, security, and love that many families struggle to achieve. The truth likely exists somewhere in the middle. There is no perfect blueprint for raising children in the public eye, and every family navigates it differently. What makes OutDaughtered resonate with so many viewers is not the novelty of quintuplets, but the emotional honesty that gradually emerged. The show became less about spectacle and more about survival, resilience, and adaptation. Adam and Danielle are not characters. They are parents learning as they go, often under extraordinary circumstances. As the future of the show remains uncertain, one thing is clear. The real story of OutDaughtered extends far beyond what airs on television. It's a story about love under pressure, parenting without a pause button, and the challenge of staying grounded when millions are watching. The untold truth is not a shocking revelation, but a reminder that reality TV is still real life, with all its complications, sacrifices, and growth. In the end, OutDaughtered is less about being famous and more about being human. Behind every episode is a family choosing each day to show up for one another, even when the cameras are off. And that is the part of the story no edit can